Hello everybody, my name is Jack O'Neill. Welcome back to Inside the Octagon episode number 2. Before we get into this one, guys, I just want to thank absolutely everybody who was involved in the SRL Fight Night number 1. It was such a great event, lots of support around it, lots of great fights. It was really entertaining. A lot of people are now trying to get involved, and I can't thank the fighters, the commission, all the media who helped promote the event, SRL 180 guys, of course, Chaz Dingo and Jason Farrow for helping with the graphics. This event couldn't have been possible without you guys' help, so thanks a lot. So SRL Fight Night 1, all wrapped up, all done, all gone. It was really entertaining. I think every single fighter showed us a little bit of what they're made of, but they can still get better. We can still see so much more from them. I think that, your Huey Smiths, your Pete Verettos, Liam Ryan, Jai Collins, Luke Malkus, the guys that lost, this isn't the end for them. They still have so much more to offer the Fight Night community, the Fight Night concept, and I definitely think we'll see them back in the ring sooner rather than later. So we're going to analyze all the fights now. We're going to start off with Jacob Morrison versus Huey Smith. I thought this was actually a really, really tight fight. I tweeted this out in the SFC Discord server the other day. Make sure you join if you haven't already. That overall, Huey Smith probably won the fight if it wasn't for Jacob Morrison knocking him down once in round 2 and once in round 3. Those two knockdowns won him those 2 rounds. Other than that, Huey Smith was throwing more strikes. He was keeping him at range pretty well with that jab, and he probably I believe he landed a few more strikes as well. With that being said, Jacob Morrison's an absolute dog, man. He was on the inside the whole time, keeping him in the clinch. He utilized Superman punches really well, which I thought was interesting. But just overall, he was just in there. He was just scrapping with Huey the whole time. He wasn't afraid to get hurt, and I think that's probably the difference. I'd say that Smith might have landed a more quantity of punches, but Morrison's quality of punches was definitely greater, and I think that's what got him the win. If I'm being honest, I think overall both fighters should be pretty happy with their performance. And you know what? With that being said, Morrison isn't a clear winner, and Smith isn't a clear loser. I definitely think they should run it back. I think we should see Huey Smith versus Jacob Morrison 2. We could be seeing the beginning of one of the best trilogies in combat sports history. I don't know if we will see the trilogy, but I really hope we do. And to be honest, I don't know who wins a trilogy fight between these guys. They're both really good competitors, really good fighters, and they showed what that we're only seeing the beginning of these two's progression and improvement in the sport. So definitely look out for these two to have a rematch in SRL Fight Night 2, 3, 4, whenever it's going to be. They definitely should run it back. The next fight, Sonny Taya and Damian Moana. Taya won by round 1 knockout. It was about 3 minutes into the round, I believe. I think that Sonny is going to do some great things in this division, man. His power is unbelievable. He has dynamite in his hands. I believe his nickname on the simulation was Boom Boom, and that does not surprise me, man. Like, he's got dynamite in his hands. Every single strike he threw, Damian Moana was hurt by. There were none that connected cleanly that I didn't think, oh, Moana handled that well. He ate that punch. And that's nothing against Damian Moana. I thought he had some good moments too. Sonny just came straight out, landed a really good strike to start the fight, and to Moana's credit, he gave it back to Sonny. But Sonny's intensity was just way too much for Damian. So what's next for Sonny? I honestly think that this is Sonny's chance to push for Bell. I don't think he can earn his spot with Bell just yet with only that one win against Moana. I think he needs to fight a Jai Collins or a Charlie Butler, maybe a Jacob Morrison even. He's got to take 1 or 2 more fights just to prove to the whole division that he's ready, that this is his title to contend for and his title to win. So I do think that Sonny will definitely contest for a lightweight title one day, but it's not going to be in the next fight night. He needs to just get a couple more wins under his belt first. The next fight, no. The next fight, Pete Veretto took on Cameron Reynolds. Reynolds won by, I believe it was round 2 knockout. Might have been round 3. I can't remember. I apologize, guys, but I'm pretty sure it was round 2. Overall, I'm not sure how much this shows us. Veredo had to go up in weight. Reynolds had to cut down a little bit. I think that Pete looked a little sloppy out there with some of his techniques, and I think his defense was probably the thing that really surprised me in the wrong way. I thought that he defensively, I thought he would be really sharp, with his wrestling background, but he ate so many strikes from Reynolds. Reynolds is a very precise striker, to his credit, but until I see Reynolds against another heavyweight, I can't judge him completely on how good he really is. Whereas Pete was also against someone out of his weight division, so I think he goes back to the drawing board, moves back down to middleweight where he belongs, and then we'll see what Pete Veredo can do, what he's made of. On Reynolds, I think that Cameron has he's got his eyes set solely on that heavyweight title, but you can't earn a heavyweight title fight if you haven't fought a genuine heavyweight. So I think that the next fight to make for him has got to be Luke Malkus, but I'll get more into Luke Malkus in a minute. The next fight that we had, Liam Ryan took on Charlie Butler. That was one of the best performances of the night. Charlie Butler was unbelievable. The strikes he was throwing, he tore Liam Ryan to shreds out there. Ryan his striking, it was non-existent. One thing that I give Jai Collins credit for in his fight with Corey Bell was that he struck. He was probably outboxing Bell before the submission happened. Liam Ryan should have taken it to Butler. I don't know if he didn't train enough striking, but he definitely should have tried to strike with Charlie. Charlie, on the other hand, he was crisp. He's so accurate. His accuracy in that fight was unbelievable. I don't know what percentage of strikes he landed, but it definitely would have been above 50. I think so. His defense was unbelievable. He defended a lot of good takedowns, and he showed some good submission defense too. He handled Liam Ryan's submission attempts, like the leg lock that he tried to put on him earlier in that fight. I think it was round 1. And other than that, Liam didn't throw very much else at Charlie. Charlie handled everything that he gave to him and gave him back probably 10 times more. So Charlie's definitely gone way up in the division's rankings after this one. I can get the division rankings up right now. But yeah, overall, I think that Charlie Butler definitely showed that he's not someone to be messed with as we have a look. Yeah, he's third. He's third on the rankings, just behind Sonny Taya and Jai Collins. Sorry, Corey Bell is obviously the champion. Meanwhile, Liam Ryan, he's down at 6th right now, so he's the bottom of every single person that has debuted in SRL Fight Night. So, he had a pretty disappointing bout against Charlie, who was, like I said, he was quality. So it's going to be interesting to see how Liam bounces back from this. I definitely think he has a lot to offer. His jiu-jitsu is very strong, but we'll have to wait and see. As we get into the 2 main events, Jai Collins, Corey Bell, 1 round, Corey Bell, submission. I don't know. Corey Bell's earned himself this title, but the lightweight division is stacked, and I can see anyone coming and trying to take it from him. Jai, I thought he might have been bet. I honestly thought he was going to win that fight when he got him into that submission. He was definitely outboxing Corey. I think that if the fight ends right before Collins takes that takedown, he wins that round. If that's the round, sorry. If the round ended right as Collins took control of Bell's neck and threw him to the ground and attempted that guillotine, and that round ended, Jai Collins would have won that round 10-9. Because he was just dominant. He was outstriking Bell. He was throwing volume. But the volume and the quantity was definitely quality. There was some really good strikes that he was throwing. Corey Bell, to his credit, was landing some very good strikes as well. His spinning side kicks, just his side kicks in general were great. I don't think that we can discredit Corey at all. He's earned that title. He worked extremely hard. He was probably one of the fittest on the night that I could see, at least visibly. But yeah, overall, I think that Corey's, he's got some real tough people coming at him now. Sonny Taya, Collins is going to want that rematch. Jacob Morrison looked great. Charlie Butler looked fantastic. And we've got a bunch of new debutants heading into the SRL Fight Night in the next couple weeks. So Corey's got his work cut out for him. And the last fight of that night, Luke Malkus versus John Nanai. Nanai won by rounds 2 or 3 knockout. honestly can't remember, guys. I should have wrote this down. That's on me. But John Nanai, man, he was so fast, so slick for a heavyweight. Way too fast for Luke Malkus. I think that's just the size of Malkus. Really let him down. And he just wasn't defending well. He wasn't covering up. He wasn't covering his head well. And I love Luke Malkus. We're going to be teammates next year. But if he's going to contest in this division again, he really needs to tighten up his defense and come in with a bit of a better game plan. It kind of looked like he just walked in there and he was just going to look to strike with him. And when striking didn't work, when John was on top and outstriking him, he just didn't have answers. And that's really concerning for Luke. So now, the next thing I want to get into before we end this episode, before I get back to finishing up some fights and getting some promotion ready for you guys so we can see what Fight Night 3 and also the first Contender Series matchups are going to be, I want to talk about where to now for some of the fighters that lost and also the fighters that won. So I want to start off with Pete. He had a chance to be middleweight champion. If he had to beat Cameron Reynolds, he would have had that middleweight championship around his waist. He would have been the middleweight champion of the world. And there's so many more middleweights that now want a shot at Pete, or just at that middleweight title. There's so many second rollers joining the league. So Pete's really got to find himself in the next couple of weeks. He needs to decide if he needs to change training camps, or something's just got to change. He's just got to improve drastically if he's going to compete at the highest level of Fight Night, or fighting in general, mixed martial arts. Can he do it? Of course he can. I will never count out Pete Veretto. He is an absolute gun and a really good bloke. So I definitely don't see Veretto slowing down, but I just hope that, he doesn't lose motivation, doesn't affect his confidence too much, because he still has a lot to offer. Jai Collins is another one. I'm thinking the fight that I think needs to be made, the fight to make, is Collins versus Sonny Taylor. The reason being, that will be the contention for the next lightweight title shot. It'll be, I think, Fight Night 2, I want the main event to be the middleweight championship, whoever ends up going for that, and those two should co-main event it. The winner gets the shot at Corey Bell. Collins will want that rematch. Sonny, he's rapidly rising. He's got a lot of potential. He's an amazing knockout artist, and I think that, Sonny's an exciting fighter to watch because of how explosive he is, and he will get bums in seats and get people watching this fight. Jai needs to be ready for Sonny's power. I thought he handled Corey Bell's quite well, but I think Sonny's the most powerful lightweight in the division, at least from what I've seen so far. So, if that's the fight that gets made, Jai needs to be ready. And I think Jai needs to win that fight, or he'll need to change it up as well, because there are still holes in his game. And I don't see holes in Sonny's game right now, because I haven't seen enough of Sonny. So it's going to be a pretty tough fight for Jai, seeing that he has no video on Sonny, realistically not much anyway. But if he wants redemption, which I'm sure he does, he wants next year to be his year where he comes back so much stronger, and, in footy and also in the ring, and he gets his next shot at at Corey. So I think that that's what Collins needs to do. He needs to fight Sonny, or maybe Charlie Butler. One of those guys, he needs to beat them. He needs to get back in the ring with Corey Bell. I think that's what's next for him. The last one I want to talk about, guys, is Luke Malkus. This is an interesting one for me. I love Luke. We're going to be teammates, as I said, but he really didn't offer too much in that fight. I think that with a couple of adjustments to his game, he could be the best heavyweight in the world. But he needs to make those adjustments, and he needs to not be afraid to, change his team and to change things, because changing things is how you get better. You bring new people in with different expertise, and that's how you go from there. Cameron Reynolds, he needs to fight a heavyweight. I think Reynolds versus Malkus, 100% the fight to make. Similar to Sonny and Jai. I think those two fight. Winner gets the next shot at John Nanai. And I think Nanai will rather fight Malkus than Reynolds. He's just unpredictable. You saw that in that fight with Pete. He's unorthodox. His striking is so quick. He's just an all-around really explosive fighter, really quick, and he's tough too. He took some heat from Pete, to be fair to him. So, you know what? I really don't know who would win that fight if that fight does get made. But I think that that's the fight that Luke needs to take to get himself back on course in his career. So that's Inside the Octagon for episode 2, guys. Make sure you leave any comments, any suggestions, or any feedback, and also some questions. If you have any questions about Fight Night or anything like that in the comments, or DM me on Discord. I'm always active, guys. I'm always willing to reply to your comments. If you have any type of queries on, how the divisions work, or who I think's going to win the next fight, or who I think is the fight to make, who do I think's the SRL lightweight champion in 10 years' time, or 10 events' time, whatever, man. Just shoot it through. I'm always around. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This has been Jack O'Neill. I'm signing off. Peace.